Welcome to the channel, welcome to Banter in the Box, episode 28, game week 23 review. It's been another busy week in the Family Fantasy Football League. 4 managers going into the transfer market this week, all in the bottom half of the table. Good to see those people down the bottom half of the table, and I am one of them, still fighting for that prize money. One of them spending £10 million on a benefit fraudster tactical gambit. We've got the normal league table highlights. Another entry to the wall of shame in game week 28. There are still managers shaming themselves. Running scared, the quote of the week, and an FFFL Cup preview. It's the FFFL Cup quarter-finals this weekend. I'll be previewing those games, and then we've got a manager of the season update. So, league table review. Here is the bottom of the table. AFC Razor debut manager Ray Porter spending a 5th week at the bottom, but did manage to equal their personal highest weekly total this season. 35 points this week. Well done, Ray. Still got a chance of avoiding that wooden spoon. Not yet cut adrift, Ray. In 26th place, Dustbin Dynamos dropped a place. That's the lowest John has been since game week 18, and that meant Nicholas and Nelka climbed a place out of the current relegation zone. Still only 3 managers nominated to join next season, so that means Nicholas and Nelka in 25th is outside of that relegation zone, and that is the highest position Nicola has been in since game week 2. Dropping 3 places to 21st, not the biggest fallers this week, but dropping 3 places to 21st, yours truly. That's the lowest position I've occupied since game week 16. I've Got a Life climbed 2 places up to 20th. The highest position Mops has been since game week 16, and that's because Mops played that benefit fraudster tactical gambit, which puts her in pole position currently for the manager of the month for March, although it is early days. Climbing a place to 19th, Clockhouse Rangers, the highest great Uncle George has been since game week 18, and George registered his first weekly win of the season with an impressive 64 points. That is your bottom half of the table. Meanwhile, top half of the table, well, Benny United dropped another place to 13th. It's the lowest position Mark has been in since game week 5. Ostrich Bar Stewards climbed 1 place to 12th, the highest Steve Maloney's been since game week 16. This week's biggest fallers, though, the Creed Bratton Society, dropping 5 places. That's the lowest position the Mad Hatter's been in since game week 2. In 8th place, Ted and Sam Juniors climbed a place. That's the highest position Ian Sands has been in since game week 18. And the biggest climbers this week, up 4 places to 6th, Sash Hammers FC, the highest position Wayne Robinson has been in since game week 15. But the big story in the Family Fantasy Football League this week, on the pitch at least, up 1 place to 4th, Coldplay United. That is Martin Maloney's highest ever position in the Family Fantasy Football League in this, his 2nd season in the league. Never been as high as 4th. His amazing season continues. Grease Lightning, champions elect, been top all season long, and obviously they're still top, but they did see their lead cut again for the 4th week running. Arden Diamonds have now closed the gap on Grease Lightning to 160 points. It's still a huge lead, but Steve Holmes is chipping away at it every week. The defending champions have not given up on retaining their title. So there is your league table. Now, Wall of Shame. We've had loads of entries this season. These are all the people that have appeared on the Wall of Shame. Mark Benwell, Mops Hoxby, the Mad Hatter, Wayne Robinson, James Appley, great Uncle George, Martin Maloney, John Tustin, Pops Hoxby, Ian Sands, Diane Maloney, and this week, take a bow, Pez United manager Ryan Perrin went into the transfer market this week but selected an invalid formation. Bad luck, Pez, you become the latest entry on the wall of shame. Running scared. Now, I mentioned that Greece Lightning manager Alexi Lagos has seen his lead chipped away for the last 4 consecutive weeks, and I think he is running scared. I got this message from Alexi. I must admit, I don't like my lead is being chipped away at. If your captain scores the most points at the end of the season, does the bonus points he earns for that get doubled? Well, you obviously are panicking a little bit, Alexi. It's 160 points, you're still ahead. I'm not sure why, but the answer to the question is yes. If you have a player in your team that scores the highest number of points of all the players in the season, then he earns 20 bonus points at the end of the season. And if that player happens to be your captain, then they do get doubled to 40 points. Alexi obviously pinning his hopes on Mo Salah being the highest scoring player this season. Now, quote of the week. Well, last week I revealed that Thames Ironworks manager Darren Revell had accused Benny United manager Mark Benwell of vaccine queue jumping. This is because Mark Benwell is in Group 8 for the vaccine, and whilst the rest of the country are doing Groups 5 and 6, Mark Benwell somehow managed to get vaccinated last week. And Darren accused him of queue jumping. Well, Mark took exception to this, and it's only fair that I give people the right of reply, and I got this email from Mark Benwell. I can't believe Darren has the cheek to talk about queue jumping. He got a vaccine by saying he was the unpaid carer for his missus who hasn't been seen for years. Check the patio. And he's got a so-called full-time job. People in glass houses brings to mind. Bloody cheek. Well, I must admit, check the patio reference, for those of you that don't get that, is for those of you that don't watch the Banter in the Box all week. Earlier on the season, there was speculation because Darren's lovely partner Adele hadn't been seen for many months. There was and Darren had a new patio laid. There was speculation that he might have killed her and buried her under the patio. It turned out to be unfounded, although Mark is suggesting that we should check again. But there is a lot of stones being thrown in glass houses there, I must admit, Mark, because you talk about he's got a so-called full-time job. You're the only man I know that does finishes an 8-hour shift in 3 hours, but there you go. Anyway, Mark, I loved that quote. It's the quote of the week, and it earns you a manager of the season point. Well done, buddy. FFFL Cup quarter-finals this weekend, and here are my predictions. Legends 23, who have dropped a place each of the last 2 weeks, take on Alexi Lagos, who's bidding for not only the double, but also bidding for the treble, because he's trying desperately to win the manager of the season as well. My prediction for this one is that Greece Lightning will edge out Nicky Saunders and book his place in the semi-final. And surprise package Martin Maloney, this is the tie of the round, surprise package Martin Maloney, who's just gone 4th in the table, his highest ever position, is taking on the defending FFFL champions Arden Diamonds. But you know what, I think Martin Maloney is going to do it this weekend. The current FFFL Cup holder Sarah Simons takes on Ted and Sam Junior's Ian Sands. Ian Sands, this is 6th versus 8th from memory. 7th versus 8th. Ian Sands had a bit of a wobble a few weeks ago, but he started to climb back up the table, and even though he's a place below Poppy's players in the league, I think Ian Sands is going to win that one. And then we've got the grudge match, 10th versus 11th, Megan Hoxley Chamberlain against the Creed Bratton Society. I think Megan Hoxby is going to take that one, which will mean the FFFL Cup semi-finals, if I'm correct, will be Greece Lightning against Coldplay United, and Ted and Sam Juniors against Megan Hoxley Chamberlain. Could we have an all Aussie final? Well, it is possible. Obviously, FFFL Cup this weekend, as long as there's a full Premier League fixture league weekend and none of the games are postponed, which is unlikely, but with COVID, who knows. So as long as all the fixtures go ahead this weekend, then it will be the FFFL Cup quarterfinals. I will reveal the actual results next week. Now on to the manager of the season question. This was the question last week. In 2008, Arden Diamonds manager Steve Holmes set the record for the biggest ever winning margin at the end of the season. But how many points did he win the league by? And what I said is, if you get the exact number of points that Arden Diamonds won the league by, you would get 4 manager of the season points. If you got within 5 points of the actual score, you would get 3 manager of the season points. If you got within 10, you would get 2 manager of the season points. And if you got within 15, you would get 1 manager of the season point. 4 managers had a go at this, and they are the current top 4 in the manager of the season table. Current leader, Lyndon's Lovely's manager Joe Hoxby, guessed that Steve Holmes won the league by 127 points. Greece Lightning manager Alexi Lagos guessed that Steve Holmes won the league by 146 points. Benny United manager Mark Benwell guessed that he won the league by 205 points. And Hatch United manager Neil Hatch guessed that he won the league by 208 points. Well, I can tell you that second place in 2008 was Mops Hoxby, which is the best ever finish. She was runner-up that year, and Mops scored 856 points. Remember, we didn't used to throw away FFFL points as easily as we do these days. Mops was second with 856 points. Steve Holmes won the league with a total of 998 points. And that meant that his winning margin, which is the current record, was 142 points. So, Mark and Neil, you were way too far out with your guesses. No points for you. Joe was exactly 15 points out, so Joe gets 1 manager of the season point. And Alexi Lagos, very impressive, just 4 points away from the correct answer. And that earns you 3 manager of the season points, Alexi, which means here is the current manager of the season table. Alexi Lagos climbing up to clear 4th on 11th. Benny United, for his quote of the week, goes clear 2nd on 15. And Joe Hoxby retains a 3-point gap thanks to her 1 point she got from the manager of the season question to continue to lead the manager of the season table. This week's question, and we're going back to a who the fuck is that? That is a picture of a current Family Fantasy Football League manager. You need to tell me which manager it is. Remember, you're only allowed 1 guess per week. 1 in 28 chance of getting it right, and if you get it right, you will earn yourself a manager of the season point. So that's it for this week. As always, guys, stay safe, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.